Be fired. Also tonight, the president visits U.S. troops in Kosovo. He's not bringing them home. Potentially deadly West Nile virus spreads in the south. And Eye on America. What the energy companies and the government won't tell you about price gouging, CBS will.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The financial security of millions of Americans is riding on what's happening now on Wall Street and in Washington. In the Capitol, the future of Social Security is at stake. More about that in a moment. But first, the stock market, where American workers have millions invested for retirement. Wall Street is under a cloud of gloom about falling corporate profits. Stocks fell still lower today. The Dow down 183 points. The Nasdaq lost 29. CBS's Jim Axelrod has the latest tonight on our economy.
Lucent, the nation's largest maker of telecommunications equipment, is one giant stock market disconnect. Citing poor earnings, Lucent will slash 20,000 jobs. Its stock is down 90% in 16 months, now worth $140 billion less than a year ago.
140 with a B. Yeah, this is an enormous story because this represents the worst of the carnage in the stock market today.
But Lucent is far from the only stock to go from darling to disaster. For the last quarter, corporate profits across the board are down 18%.
Right now, we're starting to see the second quarter earnings reports come in, and they're awful.
Colgate-Palmolive, Texas Instruments, ExxonMobil all had profit shortfalls, and the best guess for corporate America is another 10% drop.
And when companies look at the next quarter, they're going to be awful, as should be expected.
Reports like these feed Wall Street, where the bears are stuffed, the bulls are hungry, and the Nasdaq still below 2,000.
The retail investor looks at when this market goes below 2,000, he might say, I'm selling my stock, I'm sick of this, I can't handle it.
With the market reeling, the best hope now may be the income tax rebates Uncle Sam is sending out.
The last time that Uncle gave us some money back was 1975, and it had a very dramatic impact on the economy.
Walmart, among others, is banking on it. They'll cash the rebate checks no charge, figuring the money will never leave the store.
But we're glad to cash the check for them. And, of course, we'd love to have them spend it here.
But maybe they should save it for gas money. In 2 weeks, OPEC will meet. They're expecting to cut oil production. That, of course, could spike the price of gasoline, which is just about the last thing the economy needs right now. Dan?
Jim Axelrod, thanks. As for the future of Social Security and the workers who are counting on it, critics accused the President's Social Security Commission today of exaggerating the system's problems to try to sell the Bush plan for private investment accounts. CBS's Bob Schieffer has our report on that.
Remember the presidential campaign when both parties railed about the dire problems looming for Social Security? Well, here's Chapter 2. Outside a meeting of the president's Blue Ribbon Commission to fix Social Security, Democrats and Big Labor put on some street theater with a familiar face to say maybe the situation is not as bad as it once seemed. Certainly not as dire as the president's commission, meeting inside, has been painting.
The commission argues that Social Security is broken, that there are virtually no assets in the system, and that it will go bankrupt by the year 2016 unless we take a radical overhaul of Social Security.
Wrong, said Democrats, in what amounted to a declaration of war. They said so much interest is now piling up in the Social Security Trust Fund, it may be 2038 before the system will be handing out more than it takes in. What will make it worse, they claim, is adopting the president's plan to let workers invest their Social Security in stock market savings plans.
Social Security will not be secure if it is invested in the stock market.
Cantwell should know she made millions in the market, then lost most of it when technology stocks went south. But in the face of all the new criticism, the suddenly beleaguered co-chairs of the commission stressed it has officially recommended nothing as yet.
We're still at the problem definition stage, if you will.
But Democrats were unrelenting.
Throw out this commission that has no credibility at all and begin the process of negotiation.
By the end of this day of arguing, the commission chairman Parsons backed down and said the commission had gone too far when it said the Social Security system was broken. But the important thing here is that it is now clear that Democrats see no hurry about reform. So whatever the commission recommends, it'll be a while before anything happens. Dan.
Bob Schieffer on Capitol Hill. As Ford recalls millions of Firestone tires, there are new questions now about the safety of some of the replacements. Federal safety regulators opened an investigation today of the General Ameristar 550, so-called all-season tire. There have been reports of tread separations leading to allegedly 7 crashes and 17 injuries. Late today, Ford said it will stop using this model of replacement tires until the government investigation is complete. President Bush wound up his European trip today with a stopover in the Balkans. He told U.S. peacekeeping troops in Kosovo that he wants to bring them home as soon as possible, but Mr. Bush gave no timetable for withdrawal. From Kosovo, CBS's Richard Roth reports why.
It was a smiling crowd in Army green that welcomed the president to Kosovo. But with fighting less than 40 miles away across the border in Macedonia, Mr. Bush brought no pledge that GIs might be withdrawing from here anytime soon.
I've recently taken steps to cut off outside support for the rebels in Macedonia. That's why we need you to keep patrolling the border and cutting off the arms flow.
As a candidate, President Bush questioned if peacekeeping in the Balkans was the kind of job American GIs should be doing. Today, he told them their mission's vital. America appreciates your service and sacrifice, he said, but America's not in this alone.
American allied forces came into Bosnia and Kosovo. We came in together, and we will leave together.
To hasten the day when that happens, the White administration isn't drawing any time. It'll be a few years before there's even thought of reducing American troop strength here. New fighting in Macedonia underlines the problem. Albanian rebels have been battling Macedonian forces in the worst violence since the U.S. and its allies brokered a ceasefire early this month. The rebels' supply route runs right through Kosovo, right through the territory American troops patrol.
Of course, it's high stress. We're worried about if we're going to be extended, if we're going to go into Macedonia, but we're still keeping positive.
With the Balkans' reputation for doubt and trouble, keeping positive could amount to a big achievement. Richard Roth, CBS News, with the president in Kosovo.
The White House is calling on China to release 2 U.S. residents who were convicted in China today of spying and sentenced to 10 years in prison. One of them, Qin Guangguang, reported he worked for a number of American universities. CBS's Barry Peterson reports tonight about the other scholar convicted and the impact of the case on her family and diplomacy.
When Gao Zhang was arrested for espionage, her husband and 5-year-old American-born son were also taken into custody. They were later released, and they returned to the United States, where they hoped that Gao would be freed. Gao, a university professor, is a Chinese citizen living in the United States. She was convicted today and faces a 10-year prison term.
This verdict really shocked me. It's really beyond my expectation.
Her son is too little to know what's happening.
I don't want him to know this. I can only tell him I'm working hard, I'm trying very hard to get Mom back.
Another scholar, Li Xiaomin, was convicted of espionage earlier this month, but he will be deported, in part because he's a U.S. citizen. Secretary of State Colin Powell visits Beijing over the weekend as part of his first official tour of Asia. The trials will prompt a tough message the Chinese may not like to hear.
We believe fundamentally that there are human rights that are given to all people by God. And I don't shrink from that statement.
Still, there are other issues at play, like China's opening its huge market to American goods when it joins the World Trade Organization probably later this year.
Our commitment to human rights is solid and firm, and it will not be put at the expense of economic interest or security interest.
There may be a face-saving way out. Gao Zhang's lawyer has asked that she be paroled because she has a heart condition, and the Chinese might well consider it. It would ease relations with the United States and let a mother go home to her husband and son. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Tokyo.
Russian scientists said again today there is no danger of a radiation leak when the nuclear-powered submarine Kursk is raised from the bottom of the Barents Sea. They'll try to do that this fall. Divers are doing prep work now. The Kursk sank last August, killing all 118 on board. The Russians say they need to bring the sub up to determine exactly what caused it to sink. Former South African President Nelson Mandela began radiation treatments today for prostate cancer. His doctor says Mandela, who is 83, has no dire symptoms and his prognosis is excellent. Mount Etna is still putting on a spectacular show, spewing ash and lava into the sky over Sicily. Officials say they're optimistic the volcano will soon calm down, but they concede there is still some danger to nearby cities. In the aftermath of another kind of light show over the northeastern United States last night, scientists say it was a large, noisy meteor shower that dropped debris onto a farmer's field. One witness said he saw what looked like a burning plane. Another compared the sound to very loud fireworks. There is a different threat from the sky tonight in Georgia and Florida. Mosquitoes there could be carrying West Nile virus. Florida officials are mounting a pesticide spraying campaign following word that one resident may have been infected. CBS's Mark Strassman reports this is the first time West Nile has spread as far south as the Sunshine State.
In Florida today, every dead bird is suspect, a potential carrier of the West Nile virus. And in the state lab, so far, 18 birds have tested positive. In people, this mysterious virus can cause encephalitis, a brain swelling that's potentially fatal. At this Florida hospital, doctors are treating the state's first West Nile victim, an unidentified elderly man.
Anyone who has encephalitis can have a shutdown of their body functions. You can stop breathing. At some point, I know this individual was suffering some of those complications.
West Nile spreads from mosquitoes that feed off wild birds carrying the virus. In 1999, West Nile first broke out in New York City. Since then, it has killed 10 Americans, and now it has migrated from urban to rural areas. But until today, the disease had not been detected south of the Carolinas.
It shows us that we do live in a global society where infectious diseases from around the world at times can make their way to the United States.
Catching the virus remains rare, and most sufferers notice at most flu-like symptoms. The elderly are most vulnerable. Florida has 3 million people over 60, and recent rains keep coaxing more and more mosquitoes to summer here, and Florida has a new public health threat.
They're bigger than I ever seen them.
With water all over and worried about those mosquitoes, health officials have put 14 North Florida counties on medical alert. Florida's watch for the West Nile virus will go on through fall. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Tallahassee.
Next here on the CBS Evening News, Eye on America. Did power companies manipulate prices to maximize profits? The government won't tell. We will.
The CBS Evening News and tonight's Eye on America segment are sponsored by new Pepcid Complete. Just one and heartburn's done.
Ever notice how many Tums you have around because your heartburn keeps coming back? There's a neater idea. New Pepcid Complete. It works as fast as Tums, but lasts 7 times longer, all in a chewable tablet. New Pepcid Complete. Just one, and heartburn's done. For a free sample, call 1-800-4PEPCID or visit our website at PepcidComplete.com.
How can a cereal so simple taste so good? Life is full of surprises.
You want the very best for your best friends. Proper nutrition, regular exercise. And when it comes to monthly heartworm, you can forget it. Now there's Pro Heart 6. Just one dose from your veterinarian protects against heartworm disease for 6 months. Use with caution in sick, debilitated, or underweight animals. Side effects may include mild swelling or itching at the injection site. Forget monthly heartworm. Remember Pro Heart 6, the 6-month preventative, only from your veterinarian.
Hi, I want the good years you have on sale.
Okay.
And I want free mounting.
Sure.
And free rotation anytime. And I want the Die Hard battery, too. For free.
No problem.
Come on.
At Sears Auto Center, all Goodyear tires are on sale, and now buy 4 Goodyear tires and get a free Die Hard battery. Sears, America's #1 tire retailer.
Is this free?
Come closer. You brush, so you can't have denture odor, right? Wrong. Brushing can miss odor-causing food particles. So use Polident. Polident powers away food particles brushing misses. See? Polident for better odor control.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Hey, neighbor. I whipped up a delicious crab cob salad and these mouth-watering crab portobello mushrooms. Nice mold.
At Red Lobster, we love preparing crab in fresh new ways. So come in now for the Festival of Crab. Red Lobster, go overboard.
It's LensCrafters' best $99 offer ever. Right now, get a complete pair of glasses with DuraLens, our most scratch-resistant plastic lens for only $99. The $99 DuraLens event. This one you don't want to miss.
Tonight's Eye on America is the latest in a CBS News investigation digging into whether power suppliers deliberately manipulated energy shortages to jack up prices in the West. Federal regulators have been investigating this on their own. CBS's Vince Gonzalez has dug up important new information about what they know but refuse to tell.
How many out there are benefiting from the price gouging?
Under siege from angry consumers, power companies deny they shut down plants to push up California energy prices. Federal regulators continue to maintain they have no persuasive evidence that kind of price gouging occurred.
And if we find it, they're going to dread the day they ever thought about doing it.
But they did find it. The day before this testimony, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission finished a secret investigation of 2 companies for keeping plants out of service to raise prices. In one instance, Williams Energy admits telling operators at this plant, owned by AES, Williams could provide a financial incentive to extend the outage.
This withholding of power netted Williams $11 million.
Williams agreed to pay back $8 million. And while neither company would talk on camera, under a FERC settlement, they admitted to no violation or wrongdoing. The public may never know the truth because the FERC sealed the evidence, documents and audio tapes of company employees arranging to keep plants shut down.
The government refused our request to release any of the documents and has yet to make a decision about the tapes, which sources tell CBS News are, quote, politically explosive, smoking gun evidence.
California was concerned about power blackouts, but in fact what we've seen is a blackout over the information necessary for Californians to know whether in fact they're being gouged or not.
Industry critics say the demand for secrecy is a side effect of deregulation as private companies enter what was once a public arena.
And one can only ask, what do you have to hide?
Texas giant Enron and Reliant Energy were found in contempt after refusing to turn over documents subpoenaed by a California Senate committee on price fixing. Enron then sued the committee, claiming it doesn't have the right to conduct an investigation.
You just went to war with the state of California. You just declared war on the people of this state.
California was forced to reveal some energy secrets of its own after a court ordered the release of these long-term contracts showing how much the state agreed to pay for power.
It doesn't make sense that we now have to do major court battles and issue subpoenas and find companies in contempt just to get this basic pricing information.
Vice President Dick Cheney is also under attack for keeping secrets. The former energy executive refuses to give government investigators the names of industry insiders who helped draft the new energy policy he is outselling. Even the conservative group Judicial Watch, better known for suing the Clintons, is suing Cheney.
We want to know how that position was crafted, and if they're meeting behind closed doors with well-heeled lobbyists, the American people need to know that.
But there's a growing divide between what the public wants to know and what industry and even the government are willing to reveal. In Long Beach, California, this is Vince Gonzalez for Eye on America.
You may remember a recent study that said it found as many as 98,000 Americans die each year as a result of medical mistakes. Well, that may have been a mistake. A new study in tomorrow's Journal of the American Medical Association says the true risk to patients was vastly overstated. This study says medical mistakes kill at most 15,000 people a year.
Our vision of the future?
To see more family and friends.
Because health concerns change after 50, Centrum Silver added lutein. Emerging science suggests that lutein and other nutrients may help reduce the risk of cataracts. Give your life a silver lining with Centrum Silver.
You know, when a toilet bowl overflows over the floor, it's not a nice thing. You could have a lot of trouble with your septic if you don't maintain it. It could also back up on the lawn. It's cheaper to maintain your septic system.
The bacteria and enzymes in Rid-X help prevent septic backups. Use Rid-X once a month.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but the pain comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may think you know about acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
Now the makers of Prilosec introduced their new purple pill, Nexium. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with the new purple pill called Nexium.
The long jump. The dash. Life is like a sport, and your feet take the impact hard. But new Stride Guard insoles absorb 50% more heel impact than these Dr. Scholl's. Take more impact in stride. New Stride Guard insoles.
When dentures dream, they see the perfect denture cleanser. One with the stain-fighting power of Efferdent and the freshening power of Listerine. Well, little friend, dream no more. It's really here. It's called Efferdent Plus. It's extra fresh, and nothing gets your dentures cleaner. Efferdent Clean and Listerine Fresh. That's Efferdent Plus.
Looking for a quiet moment? Get a quieter cookie. Soft, fruit, chewy Fig Newtons. Time out from the everyday crunch.
There was a decision today in a high-stakes confrontation involving natural resources, jobs, and protection of the environment. This time, it's about saving endangered fish versus saving some farmers and ranchers left high and dry by drought. CBS's Jerry Bowen is on the scene of the water wars in Oregon.
The barley fields are brown, the irrigation canals empty. With mountain runoff barely 1/3 of normal, there's no water for more than 1,000 Klamath Basin farmers like Rob Crawford.
You're not getting the irrigation water you need?
Zero. It's 100% for the fish, zero for the farmers.
Most of the available water is going to the endangered sucker fish and coho salmon downriver, as dictated by federal law. Angering farmers who staged bucket brigade protest and camped out at the canal headgate, which is guarded by federal police to keep them from breaching it.
It's just a shock to not have water. We've always had plenty of water.
What Interior Secretary Gail Norton told farmers today is there's just enough water in massive Klamath Lake to give them 15% of what they need.
I recognize that for many, this water will be too little and come too late. And certainly this is a temporary solution.
Environmentalists say the long-term solution is reducing water demand, buying out farmers willing to leave.
Endangered species are not the problem here. They're the symptom of the problem. And again, the problem is that we've simply over-allocated the resource.
The farmers and ranchers were lured here by the opportunity to homestead free land and the government's promise of water forever. But nothing is forever, including a government promise.
We made the basin bloom, and now they tell us there is no water, that sucker fish are more important than we are.
This is the farm Leonard Will homesteaded over a half-century ago. His son Wade runs it now.
Since it's drying up, then we have to cut down on our sheep because they have nothing to eat during the summer.
The breeding stock was sold last week. The lambs will soon follow. Today's promised water is too late for this farm.
It hurts. It hurts. I mean, all the work I put into that homestead to develop it, and then just to see it lay idle.
Idle, parched, and worthless without water. And there's no real relief in sight. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Klamath Falls, Oregon.
On another controversy involving farming and wildlife, the Environmental Protection Agency has found no risk to the monarch butterflies from genetically modified corn, a product of the genome revolution. An earlier study said monarchs could be harmed by the pollen of corn that's bioengineered to make its own pesticide.
Today I made an omelet.
I picked an apple.
I sent the fax.
This is about chemotherapy and living your life. This is about Procrit. If you're a chemotherapy patient and you feel tired and weak, ask your doctor about Procrit.
I played a game.
Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy. And more red blood cells can mean more strength.
I caught a fish.
Procrit is safe and effective. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers.
I went to the store.
Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
It's LensCrafter's best $99 offer ever. Right now, get a complete pair of glasses with DuraLens, our most scratch-resistant plastic lens for only $99. The $99 DuraLens event. This one you don't want to miss.
You know, when the toilet bowl overflows over the floor, it's not a nice thing. You could have a lot of trouble with your septic if you don't maintain it. It could also back up on the lawn. It's cheaper to maintain your septic system.
The bacteria and enzymes in Rid-X help prevent septic backups. Use Rid-X once a month.
Applebee's summer salads are here. Oriental chicken with almonds and tangy dressing, garlic crusted shrimp Caesar, or for a limited time, the steakhouse. 11 ounces of sirloin with greens and blue cheese. Summer salads, only at Applebee's.
Heart health, in the news, on your mind. And now, Centrum Focused Formulas for Heart has been clinically proven to reduce homocysteine, an emerging risk factor for heart disease. Centrum Focused Formulas for Heart.
What if you could return your dog back to a healthy weight? Feed her Imes in the blue bag. It allows her to gradually reduce weight by helping turn fat into energy, which could add years of splendid health to her life. Imes, good for today, good for tomorrow, good for life.
Are you ready? Tomorrow's commute could become a major headache as construction shuts down several major roads. What to avoid at 6.
Our end notes tonight include some news and numbers of note. The government reports the teenage birth rate has fallen 22% in the past decade and is down now to an all-time American low. Then there is the yearly death toll in highway work zones. It has hit a record high of 872. Most of the victims were motorists, but road crews live in fear. Imagine cars speeding by within feet of where you're working. And we end with the odd, an attempted garage jacking in Detroit. Would-be thieves jacked it up and tried to haul it away, but it got stuck in the street. Police believe the crooks were after the aluminum siding. And that's part of our world tonight. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
This is CBS.
Good evening. Welcome to Coin 6. I'm Kelly Day.
And I'm Jeff Gianola. We begin with some breaking news. Warren Petrie joins us live over a fire in the Happy Valley area. Warren, what